welcome to Absurd Arguments. My name is Matthew, and this is my good friend Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fabulously, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I see that you're changing up the verbiage. It's not just saying doing great.
Yeah, man, sometimes I like to do fabulously, and today is one of those days.
Mm, that's good. Well, this is, of course, Absurd Arguments, to where we argue over absurd things. I know you're not supposed to use the word in the definition, but sometimes that's just the best way to define it.
Yep, that's one way to define it.
So today, before we get into it, I've got a little something I want to do. I was talking with some of my students. I am a youth minister, and I was talking with my students the other day, and we got on the subject about wrong number texts.
Hmm.
Now, I have been in one or two wrong number text conversations, and they have not been fun. They've been weird
Yeah.
and extremely annoying. And so, the one that really stands out to me was whenever I was in college, I got a text from a number and said, "Hey, this is Summer. I just wanted to see how you were doing." And I was like, "I don't know who you are. I think you have the wrong number." And so she just kept like going on. I was like, "Oh, we met this place." And I was like, "No, I'm sorry. I don't know who you are." And then Summer texts me, "Well, who is this?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna tell you. That's
Aw.
that's none of your business." And so I was just like, "I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. Please don't text me." And so a couple days go by,
Yeah.
and then I get a text of Summer, back from Summer, the same number. I didn't save the number. I should have blocked it, but I was in college, and so I wasn't, you know, as mature and as smart as I am now. Although that is also a debatable point. But
Yeah.
I get Summer texting me back and going, I just really need someone to talk to right now. And I'm just chilling in my dorm room trying to read for my class, and I just go,
She
I seriously don't know who you are. Please stop texting me. I'm going to block you. It was just I was so awkward.
See, Matthew, what a waste. She needed a shoulder to cry on. She was bored. She needed someone to talk to. And what did you do? You said, "No, I want to just sit here and do nothing." Shame on you.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, don't apologize to me. Apologize to Summer.
That's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I get wrong number texts all the time. I got one today, in fact. Someone saying they're ready to buy the property. So I'll get back to them eventually. But a few years ago, I live in Texas now, but I'm a transplant from Georgia, and I one day I was just chilling and I get a text from the Democratic Party in like Winder, Georgia or something, and they were like, "Hey, we're just wondering if you got your vote." And I was like, "Of course you do." And but then they texted me back and they were like, "So we appreciated your interest, Audrey, in in our party, and we were wondering if you would like to run as mayor of Winder, the Democratic candidate." And Matthew, unlike you, I don't reject people in need. And so I said, "Sure, I'll run for mayor." It's
Oh no.
and so they would text me things every now and then. Yeah, it was in the summer, and they text me every now and then, being like, "Hey, Audrey, how you feeling about the election coming up?" And I'd be like, "I'm feeling great. I'm so ready." And and then they were like, "Yeah, that's great." And I told them, I was like, "Well, where do I stand on the issues? You know, I need to know my community." And they were like, "We don't really care about that, Audrey. We just want you to run for mayor." And it came to a head when they go, "Okay, um, August 1st, this Tuesday. We want to meet you in person, Audrey, and we really we really need to hammer out campaign details. And Matthew, I'm not one to keep stringing people along. So I told him that I lived with my aunt and she was very sick and I couldn't get out to see them.
Gosh.
Um, but there was only so much pushing it off that I could do. And so finally I told them the truth. I wasn't interested in running for mayor in Winder, Georgia, and I just wanted to back off from that and pursue my other interests. So yeah,
Yeah, your other interests of playing Monster Hunter World. That's I mean,
well,
let's be honest. I mean, that obviously wasn't the case at the time, but it would have been the case if they texted you today.
yeah. I mean, I was yeah, I was busy doing other things, like living in Texas for one. Um, but yeah, it's a shame. I could have been a female mayor of a small town in Georgia, but oh well, sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, so I mean, you live and you learn.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they'll text Audrey again and be like, and by Audrey I mean me. Maybe they'll text Audrey again and be like, "Hey, man, I mean, lady, we really need your help." And maybe that time I'll really help them out. And if I show up and they go, "You're a dude," I'll be like, "That's disrespectful. Dudes can be named Audrey as well."
Exactly.
Right. I thought we were over all this.
Well, one thing I am over is this internet situation. So, just to give you a little behind the curtain, looking at Dr. Oz and all those other, literary uh,
Yeah.
references, um, we are suffering a little bit of delay.
Yeah, it's painful.
If the podcast sounds weird to you, it definitely sounds weird to us right now. And so I don't know what the problem is. It might I'm gonna go that it's my internet because that seems to be a lot of the cause of many issues that we have. And so if you're listening to this, I have already put in, I think at that point, probably like 5 or so hours of trying to get everything set together. It's going to take me a while, but I will do my best to make this sound as good as I can. And if it sounds terrible, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and on my end, I will be more interested in hearing the final episode where Matthew may not sound like a robot. But if he does sound like a robot, that could be more fun, I think.
I sure hope not, because I am a real boy and not a robot. Although I did
No, he's an android.
I'm not. I did go watch a Drum Corps International, a DCI little performance, and one of the bands. It's like professional marching, and one of the bands did a show that was like very cyberpunky, kind of like futuristic stuff, where they all dressed up like androids, and so I'm channeling those vibes right now. Apparently,
Right. I, folks, look, you'll have literally just heard what Matthew said, and you will understand perfectly every word he said. But it literally just sounded like a can opener yelling at me. I don't know what's going on.
dang it, the show must go on. Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, it's better now a little bit, I guess. Just it's
Oh gosh.
terrifying.
All right. Well, I guess we got to figure this out. We've got to
Yeah.
get this recorded. It goes out in a couple days, and we have sort of kind of procrastinated.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's us. Hey, well, look, this podcast isn't about us whining about our internet woes. This podcast is about arguing about absurd things. And
Absolutely.
today's argument is going to be quite refreshing. Very
Mm,
refreshing. Um, Matthew, what is our argument going to be about today? We're arguing about two cool beverages. So, what are they?
yes. For a second, I thought you were going to ask me what we're arguing about, and then just explain it.
Uh huh.
Well, so today we're going to be arguing about um, the age old question, the first one. Not the first age old question, the first argument we're going to tackle is an age old question. It is, which is a better soda, Coke or Pepsi? And I have Coke. I know all you people. I've been riding the Pepsi train, but Coke is actually my favorite soda. And I just happen to have bought Pepsi because one of my idiosyncrasies is just to buy different soda every now and then. But
Weirdo.
Coke is still my favorite. So, Nathan, that leaves you with Pepsi.
Yeah, I have Pepsi is the best beverage. And then after that we're going to argue about which is better, sweet tea or lemonade. So, we've got some good stuff in store, but let's cue the music.
All right. So, our first argument, as we have stated, is going to be Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
And so, Nathan, you did tell me beforehand. Oh, I'm sorry. We completely forgot to say how we did our research. Um, so, Nathan, how did you do your research for this week?
I went on Wikipedia and that's my research.
Powerful. Simply powerful. My research was going and talking with friends and family. And so I couldn't talk with strangers like we did last time. It was just simply my friends and family. And let me tell you, they've got some opinions that may be controversial to some, but
Ooh.
I'm excited to explain them to y'all.
Well, very cool. Well, I was thinking, Matthew, before we get started, I mean, it's easy to say Pepsi versus Coke, but there is a clear rivalry, and well, there's one section of this Wikipedia article that talks about the rivalry with Coca Cola. That Pepsi had. Would you like me to get into this rivalry before we talk about which one is best?
I would love to. I'd like to learn things that are new and interesting. So please be my guest.
All right, so it started in the 1970s. Okay, Pepsi conducted these blind taste tests, and they would call them the Pepsi Challenge. And so, these tests suggested that more consumers preferred the taste of Pepsi to Coca Cola. And so the sales of Pepsi started to climb, and Pepsi kicked off the challenge across the nation, and this became known as the Cola Wars.
The Cola Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up there with World War II, and the other famous wars. Um, let's see. In 1985, Coca-Cola made a misstep.
Oh
They
no.
uh they wanted to change their formula. Yeah, they changed their formula to New Coke, and it was it was invented specifically in response to the Pepsi challenge. So that's what the theory is. But consumers hated the new Coke, and so Coca-Cola quickly reintroduced the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic. Now, you know the song by Billy Joel called "We Didn't Start the Fire"?
Ah, a classic.
Yeah. Well, there's a line in it that talks about the rock and rolla cola wars, and it refers to how Pepsi and Coke use various musicians to advertise their product.
Mm.
And so Coca Cola used Paula Abdul, while Pepsi used Michael Jackson.
Oh
So,
yes.
when I think of Michael, good old MJ, I definitely think of Pepsi. So,
Mhm.
uh,
I think of something different, but I mean that's just two different perspectives.
yeah. Um, let's see, a couple more. Okay, I'll mention this. Um, let's see. Now, in the US market, okay, unfortunately, PepsiCo's market share is 30.8%, while Coca-Cola's is 42.7%. And Coca-Cola outsells Pepsi in most parts of the U.S. except for
Hey,
Central
Nathan.
Appalachia,
Hey,
North
Nathan.
Dakota,
Nathan.
and
Hey,
Utah.
Nathan. I
What?
I could not care less.
Okay, yeah, I know, but this is important.
I don't think it is though.
Okay, 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 okay. How about
Look,
this?
we already sat through me in the last episode talking about all these things of, the height of the Grand Canyon, and you had to come in and save the day by saying, "Hey, those numbers are stupid. Here's a funny joke." So we don't need another Grand Canyon rescue.
This last one, I promise. Okay, all right.
Okay.
So, look, Pepsi is the drink of French Canadians. Okay, and
Why is that important?
I just find this funny. Okay, look, Coca-Cola has a slogan. Just hear me out. Coca-Cola has a slogan that says "Around the world, it's Coke," which is "Partout dans le monde, c'est Coke." But in Quebec, their slogan is "Here, it's Pepsi." Ici, c'est Pepsi.
Oh gosh, every single French speaking person they just cringed at your pronunciation.
Yeah, that's fine. So I think we just now we understand the deep rivalry between the two. And
Sure.
I know that you won't edit any of that out and you will keep it all in because it's riveting. Riveting content, Matthew.
Oh, absolutely. It just I feel so educated. I've been educated so hard right now, and I'm very happy.
I bet. Here, tell you what. Okay? Here here's one that's pretty good, okay? So you know how Pepsi had that variation called Crystal Pepsi?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, how it's all clear, it's a clear Pepsi, and
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
marketed as a caffeine-free clear alternative, alright? And, the marketing slogan is, "You've never seen a taste like this," okay?
That's not how the five senses work though.
Yeah, but it does for this. So in 1992, they released it, okay? And, and so they they released it nationwide in December of that year, alright? But then, Coca-Cola was pissed off that they had this stupid clear beverage, and so they introduced, Crystal Tab,
Oh my
and
gosh,
it's a clear tab
I
drink.
know this drink.
Yeah, it used to be regular Tab, but they released Crystal Tab, okay, as like an alternative, alright? But David no, not David. So Sergio Zyman released Tab Clear as an intentional kamikaze effort to create an unpopular beverage that was positioned as an analog of Crystal Pepsi in order to kill both in the process. So he released Crystal Tab. He did. It died 6 months later, dude.
Oh gosh.
I mean, what a brave maneuver that is. Just like, I hate my competitor's beverage, so I'm gonna make my own stupid beverage to kill theirs. Oh, I love it. I mean, oh no, I hate it because I'm pro Pepsi.
Uh-huh, yeah. Well, it's time to
Yeah,
stop
sorry.
learning and start arguing.
Oh boy, I'm always learning though.
Mm, especially on a comedy podcast that does not carry the education tab.
Matthew, start us off. What's so great about Coca-Cola anyway?
Well, let me tell you something about Coke. Coke is just the right amount of acidity to make your taste buds go wild. One thing that I love about Coke is the fact that it's not too sweet. Yeah, I mean, we're both we're both thoroughbred Americans. Everything that American food has, it contains just a little bit of sugar. And then the things that are supposed to be sweet have like tons of sugar. And it's just that sweet taste. It gets me. I don't have that big of a sweet tooth. And there was one time me and my family were on a vacation in Tampa, Florida, and we went over to Orlando for a tour through Universal Studios, the theme park there. And in the Harry Potter section, you could go into this candy store. I think I was in that candy store for about a minute before all the smells of just all the sugar and sweetness. It started making my head hurt. And so I looked at my mom. I was like, I gotta step out. And so I don't always want stuff that's overbearingly sweet. And that's the thing about Coke. It's not. It has a good mix of it's sweet. It's got sugar in it for sure, but it's also got just enough of that bitter taste that it's not like a coffee to where if you're not used to it, it's just going to turn you off to it. And so I think that is what makes Coke the superior beverage. Now, Nathan, what makes you think that Pepsi is incorrectly the superior beverage to Coke?
Well, see, Matthew, despite the fact that I hate both equally, Pepsi is a superior beverage because sometimes you can go to a Chinese buffet and you ask for Coke, and they say, "We have Pepsi, and is that okay?" And you can say yes. Um, let's see. Oh, when it was made, it didn't have cocaine in it like Coca-Cola did, so uh for you straight edge type people out there, anti-drug dare folks, Pepsi is the clear choice for you. Geez, Matthew, I don't know. It tastes it I tastes better than Coke according to the blind taste test Pepsi challenges.
From
Um
1970 something.
Look, man, we can respect those people. They had tongues just like we do, Matthew.
Yeah, but then they changed the Coke recipe and then changed it back. And
Yeah.
so who's to say that Pepsi didn't like, well, maybe we should try something new. So you never know. The recipe's under lock and key.
Matthew. Here's the thing. I'm getting personally derailed. I need to give you a picture, a snapshot of Pepsi's storied history. Okay?
I would love to hear that.
Y- You're so welcome. So, Pepsi was not always called Pepsi. Did you know what it used to be called?
Peepsy.
No. Uh,
Oh,
since it was created by a guy named Caleb Bradham, it was called Brad's Drink. But he renamed it 5 years later to Pepsi Cola. Let's see. Brad's Drink. It was made in North Carolina, so North Carolina gets something. Good for them. It is pretty good, and it just had sugar and vanilla in it. Those were the original ingredients.
all right.
Um, Now here's the thing, though. Okay, so back in the Great Depression, okay, we all remember that time. It was very sad, but
Ah,
Coca Cola
yes.
and Pepsi were both sold. They were both sold in like 6.5-ounce bottles, but Pepsi was a genius. They started selling 12-ounce bottles of Pepsi for a nickel, the same price as just a 6-ounce.
That is scandalous.
Yeah. And yeah, so they'd sell it for a nickel and they'd have a little jingle about it being only a nickel. Um so yeah, they were the first ones to do that.
Man. So, what did people back then say about the taste?
Now, man, this tastes like Pepsi. That's what they would say.
Yeah, I'm sure they said that.
Um, let's see. Dude, look, man, I'm just having to skim articles to say interesting stuff. Um, oh, Pepsi has been in movies. It's been included in Back to the Future, Home Alone, Wayne's World, Fight Club, and World War Z.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. Ooh, here's a fun fact about Pepsi. In the 1940s, there was a guy named Walter Mack, and he was like, we need to advertise to African Americans, and they called it the oh my gosh, Matthew, they called it the Negro market because it was largely ignored by white-owned manufacturers, and so they would mostly advertise to them, you know,
Is
and
that why they got Michael Jackson on board?
yeah, later, yeah, sure. Um, they even had a sales team that would go around to just sell to, black people, and they were even threatened by the KKK, you know?
Oh man.
Um,
All right,
and,
I'll you know what? I'll give him that. That's pretty dope. I'll give that to him.
yeah, they stood up to they were anti-racist, unlike Coca-Cola.
They were anti-racist, but they were still pro-capitalist. So again,
Of
as
course.
as a resident capitalist, I give them mad props.
Now, one thing I mean, to be fair to, uh, well, unfortunately, the guy who was coming up with this, William Mack or whatever his name is, Uh, well, he did oh my gosh. He did say to, everybody, because the bottlers and other companies involved with Pepsi were kinda worried that black people liked it so much, and Mac assured them that it would not become the N-word drink. So, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you know what I mean?
That's
So, that's pretty great,
hey, hey, guess what? You're
they
the one that
yeah.
brought it up on this family-friendly podcast, so I just want to point that out. You have
Right,
no
I'm
one else
sorry.
to blame but yourself.
I know. I just am trying to be fair, you know? I'm just I don't wanna be dishonest.
I'll give that to you. That's um what's the word? Good. That's the only word I can think of.
Yeah, isn't Pepsi the one with, like, Kylie Jenner or whoever
Yes, the
going up to,
really the
like
failed like riot or like, protest video or something like that. Yeah, that was Kylie. I think that was one of the Jenner sisters.
yeah, that was thank goodness neither of us know for sure which one. Ooh, oh,
Sorry,
this is
sorry.
cool,
My
okay.
my memory just I blanked out on her name. So you on the other hand did remember her name. I did not. So
Bro, this is sad. My brain is filled with Pepsi facts now. Um, so, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union did not allow any Western products to be sold, but Pepsi managed to strike a deal with them in 1972. So Pepsi was sold in the Soviet Union. It was the first foreign product sold in the Soviet Union. Um,
that is upsetting.
yeah, well, in the early 90s, Coca Cola finally came in, after the Soviet Union was like, let's just be Russia now. And when Coca Cola did that, everyone was like, "Oh, Coca-Cola's for the new regime, Pepsi's for the old regime."
Oh,
And so nobody
no,
drank
they
Pepsi there
they
anymore.
did not.
For real.
Oh gosh. Well,
Uh,
do you have any
ooh,
more facts?
I do, but why don't I'll save one. I'll save a couple. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Coca-Cola? Why it's better? I mean, I'm just sharing. This podcast is now the Pepsi Facts podcast, by the way. I
Gosh,
don't
we're
know
really
what to
good at this
say.
whole thing of just like free advertisement.
I know this is stupid.
We gotta start making our topics over like concepts and not like physical brands. Um
Yeah.
anyways, so um I'd had family and friends, and so I talked with I went and visited my brother and sister-in-law and my nephew, who is a cute little 4-month-old baby, and so I got to spend time with my nephew, and then I also talked with my brother and sister-in-law. But my sister-in-law is an avid Coke drinker.
Oh.
Like the only sort of soda products you will ever find in their home is Coke. And so I thought she was the perfect person to, ask her opinion of why is Coke better than Pepsi. And she hit me with this line: Pepsi is like monopoly money. You wish it was real, but it's not. And so I'm here to kind of express what she meant. And by that, she meant Coke is the real deal. Coke is the top. Pepsi wishes it was Coke. It's like Pepsi's like monopoly money. You wish it could be useful in things, but it's just fake paper currency for a children's board game. And so it's a real strong statement to make, don't you think?
I mean, yeah, that's I she has the right to say her strong statements even though it's wrong because Pepsi is less like monopoly money and more like the euro. You know, it's still real, but it's real to other people.
That doesn't, no, that's the euro is still valid currency.
Yeah.
That was a stupid thing you just said.
Yeah, it's still real. I
No, but
mean,
Monopoly money
but
has
just it's
no
most
purpose outside of outside of the board game.
yeah. Yeah, well, the euro has no purpose in my hand. I live in
Yeah,
America.
this you could go to a bank and exchange it and get American dollars.
Yeah, no, but see, it just doesn't work because that'd be like
Yes,
me
it
trading a
does.
Pepsi
It
for a
does
Coca-Cola.
work.
It doesn't, Matthew. You don't understand.
So, so my sister in
Look,
law says that Coke is the real deal and Pepsi is just fake. And then my little brother,
yeah.
when I was with him at the DCI thing, he said, and I quote, "I don't know, cocaine."
Ooh, okay. So he's okay. See, we talked about this. See, Pepsi is the good boy drink, the good boy soda. No cocaine ever in that batch, ever.
But yeah, but here's the thing. Shout out to all you edge lords out there that like to do things a little different.
No, bad Matthew.
I'm not like other boys or I'm not like other girls. You want a little fun in your drink. And how do you get a little fun? You
No,
sprinkle.
Matthew.
What you do is you get a little of the good stuff and you just kind of whoop 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 in
No,
there and you've got it made.
bad, bad Matthew. No,
Shout out to all those edge
drink
lords out
Pepsi. It's
there.
more wholesome.
Um No, but I will say, with all the chemicals and stuff that's in Coke, there was one time again in college. My college experience was very lackluster. My battery stopped working, and so um, I went to college in Fort Worth, and I have an uncle that lives nearby in North Dallas, and he came over and he, in the rain, helped me get the battery fixed out. So I'll always be grateful for that. Um, but one of the tricks that happened that he did was on the internet. They say that if you pour Coke over your battery, some of the battery acid builds up on your car battery. It'll disintegrate that, and lo and behold, I had some Coke in my mini fridge in my college dorm room, and we poured it over. Sure enough, cleaned up that battery nice and good. And so Coke is versatile.
And now you want that brown acid in your body?
Yes.
Gross. Get
And so
Pepsi. It won't kill you.
it's not
Probably.
just the. I mean, in the Coke recipe, they no longer use cocaine because it is an illegal drug, and if you do drugs,
Do drugs
do
at
drugs.
that?
Oh no! Oh no!
We're
If
like
you
5 years old.
gosh, if you take drugs, please find some help, get some help. There are lots of wonderful places that will help you conquer this addiction, that it can't destroy your life. And also, just as an aside, if you ever need prayer for anything, please email that to us. We're both good Christian boys, and we love to, you know, do what is necessary. And sometimes tackling something like a drug addiction is very difficult to overcome on your own. So we would love to, just take time out of our day. Just if you have any, anything like that, shoot us an email, and we'll love to pray for that. Anyways, back to the stupidity.
I
Um,
Well, look, I back up everything Matthew says, and I personally think you should replace your addiction to drugs with an addiction to Pepsi instead.
Nothing like a good old caffeine dependency, am I right?
Well, you could get the caffeine-free clear Pepsi. Oh, wait,
Uh huh.
Crystal Pepsi is gone. One last thing I want to add. Okay, so you may think, well, look, Nathan, look, Coca-Cola is worldwide famous. It's popular everywhere around the world, but that's not true. There are certain
Yeah,
countries.
because it's not famous in Quebec.
Yeah, well, there are certain countries where it is more popular. Um, that Pepsi is more popular than Coke. Here they are. There's Oman. Oman is number one. Um, you have India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala. Uh, let's see, Quebec, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, in Northern Ontario.
Those are Canadian provinces that you just said.
Yeah, well, I skipped the part where it said, "Here are the Canadian provinces where it's popular."
Well, apparently, it's so Coke is so American that Pepsi is not, and they're like, we can't be North America or Northern America. We have to be Canada, and so they separate themselves by saying, "Oh yeah, we love Pepsi." Meanwhile, there's a underground Coca-Cola smuggling business going throughout uh, Eastern Canada, trying to get all the Coke in the Coca-Cola. Gosh, I can't talk about smuggling and not think drugs. Again, drug addiction is bad.
You gotta stop. No, here's the thing. Here's the smoking gun that'll prove that Pepsi is better. In Japan, guess what their official Pepsi mascot is?
Oh, I do know this one, but what is it?
Yeah, it's Pepsi Man. It is
Pepsi
a terrifying it's a terrifying bodysuit wearing dude dressed in Pepsi colors. And he saves the day by bringing people Pepsi.
Man. And he
Um,
also
he
spawned
also
a
starred in video.
PlayStation 1. Yes, exactly.
He also starred in a video game. So first, he was in like a Sega or Saturn game, fighting game. So he fought people. Uh, let's see. His specialty in that game was the ability to quench one's thirst.
Ew.
Um, and then he was in a PlayStation game called Pepsi Man, where you ran along and you would jump on skateboards and you'd avoid dangers and obstacles.
Man, so good.
Where's Coca-Cola's cool mascot, huh?
Well, you can't run around saying Coke Man because, yet again,
Oh, I know a Coke man. I've met a guy before.
yeah, of course. So that was Coke versus Pepsi. Obviously, one of them is a Wikipedia article, and the other one is hardcore just experience of the Coke brand itself.
Dude, I'm shocked. Dude, I'm shocked you do not like Pepsi more because it has official sponsorship deals with the NFL, the National Hockey League, and the NBA. And it was the sponsor of MLS, Major League Soccer, and the MLB for a while until they signed with Coke. Ugh. So
Just I
yeah,
like the taste of Coke better. That's it.
no, okay.
So what is our second point? I'll let you start that off for us.
You mean our second question?
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
I forgive you. Ours is which is better, sweet tea or lemonade? Another refreshing summer beverage.
Yes, and so I started off the absurd. Oh no, the opening statement, and so Nathan, I believe it is your turn to start off the opening statement with what you had.
You were wrong. But no, maybe you're right. Yeah, so I had sweet tea, you have lemonade. Um, so Wikipedia, uh, well, let's just talk about sweet tea for a moment. In the South, sweet tea is king. Wherever you go, you're gonna find sweet tea. And if you don't find it, that place will soon be shut down and replaced with a place that does sell sweet tea. Sweet tea is such a great beverage, okay? Because it combines two of the best ingredients ever, tea and sugar, where the sweetness comes from. And you put those together. Now, you could just have that, that'd be fine. The British people would be excited because now that's just hot tea and sugar. But we don't want that. America is different and better. So we put a bunch of ice in it. Now it's sweet tea. Um, Sweet tea is pretty much the only tea that matters in the South. But as I will soon reveal from Wikipedia, the rest of the world, the rest of the world is a wacky place. And when I say rest of the world, I also mean northern United States. Because, Matthew, this may shock you. They don't call it sweet tea worldwide. They call it iced tea.
Oh no.
I didn't know this. Yeah. Yeah, it blew my mind. So we'll go into that in a minute, but yeah, sweet tea is king, man. Just a simple tea, ice, and sugar, perfect beverage for a summer day.
Hmm. Well, I would have to disagree
Of course.
because lemonade is right there at the top with it. You know, some places you don't have the availability to go and crack you open a cold Coke, but they have so many other drinks, and that's one of the things is you've got sweet tea in the South or you've got lemonade. Now, here's the question: what do children in the summer set up to sell outside their drive on the driveway of their home?
Uh, s- stock exchanges.
No, the staple drink of summertime for kids is lemonade. And let me tell you something. Lemonade is the time. No, excuse me, summertime is the time to drink lemonade because it's really hot outside. It has not gotten under, we in DFW we have set record highs for heat of somewhere around 110 degrees Fahrenheit and whatever it is for Celsius. I'm not smart enough, nor do I care to convert it. But the thing is, lemonade is going to be the number one thing that cools you down. And unlike water, lemonade tastes good. It's got that perfect blend of sweet and sour. And it accentuates the moment to where you're drinking in all this lemonade and you're taking a break from the heat and you're just feeling, as you said, refreshed. And so lemonade is just summertime is the time of lemonade.
Hmm. Interesting. Gosh. Well, Matthew, what did your family say about lemonade?
Well, uh my friends and family, well, the thing is, we'll start off with friends. I talked with my youth group and my students, and they said that they think lemonade just tastes better. And I think when you consume anything, unless it's a hot sauce, which is something I will never understand of how people will take the sensation of hot sauce over the taste of it. I've worked in different kitchens and restaurants before, and so I'm a taste guy. I like stuff that tastes good, not just looks good, but tastes good. And I have to agree with them with lemonade. Like I said, you get that blend of sugar and sour, the sweet and sour, and so it really does taste better to me. And it's not kind of it's a different kind of you can only have so much bitter and sweet. You got to have something that changes it up a little bit. When you mix sour and sweet, that's the thing. You don't have candy pieces around that's like, oh, it's a bitter and sweet taste. No, that's licorice. And I can count on one hand how many people I know that like licorice, but I can tell you all the different types of sweet and sour candies that's out there. Heck, even, you know, Asian food restaurants have sweet and sour chicken, not sweet and bitter chicken. And so just the combination itself is far greater than, the bitterness and little, stuff that tea brings you. It's that sweetness mixed with the sour that really makes lemonade above tea.
Um, yeah, look, I hate to be that guy, but your youth group is wrong. It tastes bad. It's just too sour, and I see I refuse to support a fruit that causes discomfort to babies because I've seen those videos where parents go, "I'm gonna here's little baby. I'm gonna feed it a lemon and see what it reacts like. It's its first lemon." And I'm like, "We know what the baby's gonna react like. He's gonna
Yeah, and it's
freak
really
out."
funny.
You heartless jerk. I am pro baby here, dude. And I will speak for the unspoken for. And I say, stop feeding your babies lemons and stop drinking lemonade, which supports the lemon market that people use to shock babies.
Maybe that whole Pepsi, was the first foreign drink to get into the Soviet Union's really kind of getting to you to where you're now anti-establishment. Take down the lemon market,
Yeah.
rise up working class, and overtake the lemons.
Yeah. I believe that every baby should have the right to work and not eat lemons.
Okay, now I don't think that's good. That's a good stance to have. Every child should work.
I said they should have the right to work. And I said babies.
Fair. All right. You know what? Fair enough. So my second
Okay,
point.
look.
No, no, I've got one more point real quick. We're running
Sure.
short on time, so let me get this one in.
Yeah.
Again, I talked to my little brother, and he said that lemonade has more depth in its flavor. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know what that means. So I'm going to figure out what that means while I talk about it. Um, I don't know what that means.
it I think he means like he would like to fill the swimming pool with lemonade and dive into it. It would have good depth then.
You know what? That would be some of the most painful feelings I think anyone could ever feel.
I mean, imagine if you had a cut, like a paper cut, like any cuts on your body would
Mm,
immediately be discovered by you as you
mm.
dive into that.
Almost as bad as diving into a pool full of like hand sanitizer. Oh, that might be worse.
Why? Well, hey, you know what? Best of both worlds. Let's mix them together.
Oh
Most
no!
painful dive you'll ever
Oh
take.
no! No! That would hurt so bad.
And hey, let's triple it up. There's hand sanitizer, lemonade, and hot sauce. Perfect.
Now, okay, no, take a quick stop, real quick. What kind of hot sauce?
Hmm. Uh, we could go with Tabasco.
The Tabasco has no flavor though.
Something flavorful. It. I literally just said it's flavorful.
Man, that's the one time the delay really came in handy.
I agree.
All right, Mister Sweet Tea. What is your retorts that you have so luckily found
Well,
on Wikipedia?
okay. Well, here we go. The history of sweet tea. Um, no, I'm not gonna go that bad. But
Thank you.
but yeah. Do you know? Okay, so I didn't know this. You were saying it bothers you how bitter it is and the acidity. Did you know you could add baking soda to it to tampen that down?
Baking soda?
Fun fact. Yeah, baking soda. It's on Wikipedia, so it must be true.
Mm, truth.
Now, here's the thing, okay, with sweet tea, look, if you wanted it, now normally it can have a lower sugar and calorie content than most fruit juices and sodas, but sometimes you can be lucky and it can have like 22 degrees bricks of sugar levels, which means 22 grams per 100 grams of liquid, twice of Coca-Cola. So it could be really, really sweet. Did you know that sweet tea used to be considered a luxury item?
Oh no.
Hello, Matthew? Matthew! Matthew, where are you? Oh no. Oh no. This is an awful day. Matthew has disappeared. He is gone. I'm all alone. I don't know what's going on. I I feel so cold. Matthew.
Hello? Hey. Hey, are you there? Nathan, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Whew.
So what was the last thing you heard?
Bricks.
Okay. So it has uh about 22 grams to 100 grams. Wait, 22 grams of sugar per 100 grams of liquid, which is twice the level of Coca-Cola. So it
Oh
can be
my
super
gosh.
sweet if you want it to be.
Oh, that sounds no.
Lovely. Um, Now, iced tea, sweet tea, used to be a luxury item because, everything was expensive. Tea was expensive, ice and sugar. Um, so it was very difficult to make. But nowadays, it's pretty cheap. It's pretty major. It's plentiful. Okay, so in this Wikipedia article on sweet tea, do you know what other country other than the southern United States is mentioned as loving sweet tea?
What?
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, they planted it. It got popular when the Dutch colonized it,
Of course.
and they freaking love it. They love it out there. Here's a funny joke. Here's a funny joke. Okay, so in 2003, as an April Fool's joke, the Georgia State House of Representatives, they introduce a bill making it a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature to sell iced tea in a restaurant that did not also offer sweet iced tea on the menu.
Oh
Oh, those
gosh.
jokesters. They have fun.
That
Georgia State House of Representatives has fun.
that might be worse than a dad joke, in all honesty.
No, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, sure you do.
Yeah, but dude, I'm kind of shocked because like the sweet tea article on Wikipedia is very short, okay?
Mm,
Um but if you look up iced tea, it is this super long article and it talks about all these varieties of tea and it talks about sweet tea and how that's really only popular in the American South, which is
mhm.
like rude. And then it talks about all these countries and their types of iced tea, and it's literally just sweet tea, dude. Like all of them are literally sweet tea. And some weirdos like, well, I'll rephrase. Some countries like India or Korea, they'll add like milk and stuff to it to make it creamy, which is kind of weird, dude.
Creamy tea?
Yeah, creamy sweet iced tea.
Ew, it doesn't sound good at all.
And they'll add tapioca pearls to make it like a boba tea,
Oh,
which is kind of weird, but whatever.
yeah.
But Matthew, I'll be honest. This argument may be our most absurd one yet because I think there's a clear answer about tea and lemonade.
Oh, what would that be?
It's better together.
Mm, you're not wrong.
Half and half, dude.
The good old Arnold Palmer.
The greatest golfer of all time, he was like, let's do half and half. Iced tea, lemonade. Put them together. What have you got? You've got a good drink, you know? And perhaps we should follow his
You
example.
got the perfect summer beverage.
Yeah. Hey, Matthew, could you mind if I just talk to the audience alone for a minute?
Sure. Do I need to go somewhere?
Because, well, I mean, you don't have to go. Because it's just I'm filled with such joy that we were able to come together on this last
Mm,
point and be
very true.
unified for once. I wanted to just celebrate with the audience. Do you mind if I do that?
No, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. If you could just make sure you make sure you're not listening in, I'd appreciate it.
Sure thing. You got it.
Okay, audience. Oh, hey, audience. Okay, actually, I want y'all to know I secretly won this argument because Matthew is not on Wikipedia to find out that Arnold Palmer actually did not do half lemonade and half sweet tea. He did 2/3 sweet tea, 1 part lemonade. Heck yeah!
Can I come back yet?
No, not yet. Which means I won this argument. Sweet tea is
Okay.
clearly no, not don't come back yet. Sweet tea is clearly better than lemonade. So yeah, but I'm cool with Matthew thinking we're unified on this front and that, they're cool together.
I saw the levels died down. Are you finished talking?
Yeah, yeah, I just me and just me and the good audience just talking about how you and I are unified.
Ah, yes.
So
Unity is such a good thing.
isn't it nothing nothing about how the Arnold Palmer actually is comprised, but yeah, we're just
It's just a good old
celebrating
mixture of lemonade and tea. I mean, what could be better?
totally totally half and half. Perfect.
Yep. Well, on this wonderful note of unity, uh, let's cue the music.
All right, everybody. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Absurd Arguments. I hope you feel refreshed and
Mm-hmm.
cool and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps you'll go get a nice beverage of your own, you know.
Yes. And again, I'd like to plug our email, absurdargumentsforyou@gmail.com. That's absurdarguments, the number 4 and the letter U at gmail.com. And we have another email that I received this week.
Oh, who from?
Yes. It's from Alex. And it says, "Hey, my name is Alex. I found absurd arguments on the Apple something my company. Oh, it's an ad.
Oh,
No. Well, so if you want your email to be read on it, if it's appropriate enough, then we'll read it because I like the interaction, the different things we see on, you know, our Facebook and Instagram pages, absurd arguments on Facebook and Instagram. Just seeing that interaction is always fun. And then hearing, getting texts from friends about, how much they enjoy it.
yeah,
I love to hear that. So, let us know where you're listening from, and all that good stuff. We just love to, get the feedback. It's always good to do that.
absolutely. But yeah, well, I hope all of y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.